You got to see some of the interesting moments that Elaine highlighted from the humanoid robot games. What was the key takeaway for you from this weekend?
Thank you, Emily, and thank you, Elaine. First of all, I would say I do think AI plus robotics, that's just a very important technology trend that's just too significant to be ignored, especially if you take like a 5 to 10 years time horizon. And just look at, there are so many events recently, like end of July, there's the World AI Conference. Last weekend, there's the World Robot Conference in Beijing. And during the past weekend, we have this World Humanoid Robot Games. And to me, well, especially as a research analyst, I think the most important thing we're looking into is the technology improvement, especially related to the AI front. And if you recall, back in April, the half marathon robot games, that was entirely remote control, and lots of market participants actually criticizing China humanoid robots being similar as a toy, is remotely controlled. So we are mainly looking into whether there's improvement in terms of autonomous capability and also generalization capability. So that's the most important thing. And if you look at the event, I would say definitely we're seeing positive progress. And the whole games is actually encouraging the different teams to showcase autonomous capability. For example, during the competitive sports like the running games, if you look at the Tiangong, now they fully adopted autonomous capability during the running games. And if you look at the soccer game, that's basically showcasing multi-robot collaboration. And if you consider all of the scenario-based competition, the application-based competition, like material sorting, medicine sorting, material handling, stuff like that, actually it's encouraging. If you're autonomous, actually the games is applying like a 1.5 times multiple will give you 50% more scores. So it's encouraging such shift from remote control to autonomous. So that's on that front, I'm seeing positive progress.
Now, as I'm going to various events, going to auto shows, we would see from names like XPeng, they feature very prominently in the middle of all their cars, their EVs, is a humanoid robot. We've also seen similar things coming through from Han Hai Precision, many different companies building out their robots. Where are we in terms of the timeline in the development stage of these robots?
Yeah, so in GS forecast, by 2035, we are looking into a 38 billion market size in our base case. That's considering it's mainly addressing like the industrial applications, manufacturing jobs, shortage issues. But if it can tackle the consumer application, we're seeing a blue sky scenario of 205 billion market size. So you can see the potential there. And in terms of where we are, in my view, at least the most bullish comments I've heard from all those robot participants is at least we need 1 to 2 years to really shift into this AI-driven, AI-powered robots, because we just need time. For example, we just heard Noitem commented on the necessity to gather data, to scale up data, and also to do reinforcement learning to train the robots, right? So we're still at the stage, at least we need 1 to 2 years to gather enough amount of data. But with that said, I would apply certain discount in terms of timing to get this technology inflection point. If we take reference to CEO of Unitree, Mr. Wang Xinxin, he actually commented that how to define this ChatGPT moment for robot is actually if you have a robot to come to an entirely new environment, ask the robot to do something, it can do it, then that's the so-called ChatGPT moment. So to achieve that moment, I'm actually seeing we are actually experiencing this constant evolution of AI architecture. For example, at the beginning of this year, we heard many robot players, they're saying this VLA, vision language action model plus reinforcement learning could be the possible solution. Therefore, they just need data, either synthetic data or real high quality real data. But nowadays, recently, if you look at development surrounding AI large language model, and now it's shifting to world model. And recently, Google came up with this Genie 3, and also there's a discussion in terms of whether this could be a more ideal AI architecture. And accordingly, you need the hardware to work together with the software. So this is like a constant evolution between software and hardware. So in my view, it probably will take several rounds of iteration to really get there.
Okay, several rounds of hardware and software. If people want to invest in this, are you able to share with us, if not the names of the companies, of the industries, what type of companies would we be looking at?
Yeah, first of all, if you think about those human robot companies, there are not so many in the market at this stage, right? Like Unitree is preparing for this potential IPO, but it will take some time. I think at this stage, it's more important to look into the component companies, especially I think for investor, they depends on their time horizon. If it is roughly longer time horizon, 2-3 years beyond, I think it's better to look into the areas with higher visibility that indeed they can benefit from this technology trend and they have a strong technology barrier. I think that's the criteria we are looking into potential beneficiaries. And if it's a relatively shorter time horizon, I would say it's probably the incremental technology change that's driving the share price performance. And especially in the near term, we talk about the technology inflection points not there yet, but in the near term, we do see volumes coming from educational demand, companion demand, entertainment demand, right? Just looking at those games. And also there's just, if you look at the World Robot Conference, so many parents with kids went to see that event. So near term, that's where the volume is coming from. So I think it relates to time horizon, but given time, 5 to 10 years time horizon, that will be a very significant trend.
And in terms of the AI architecture that you mentioned, what is the next milestone in the AI technology that we should watch for? Would it be the reinforcement learning where they can be more autonomous, or the other benchmarks that you're looking at, such as end-to-end learning?
I would say put into another way, by what time and to what extent those robots can be really useful. Just thinking from the customer's lens, be it manufacturing customers or consumers, if you really want to buy a robot, I would say, first of all, the AI capability has to be there, including success rate. For example, when we look at those robots performing certain tasks, it seems like the success rate is somewhere between 80 to 99 point something, but it really depends on the application. The success rate has to be there. It definitely cannot be just like 50, 60%, right? That's one. And two, if you look at the games, like the speed, it cannot be too slow. Like in industrial setting, it has to catch up with the pace of production line. So there's a requirement on speed. That's exactly the world human robot games. That's encouraging. You have to perform certain tasks within, with certain accuracy and within certain time frame, right? And then you have to do the task reliably. Being robust. And if it's consumer application, we talk about safety, that's the additional commercialization consideration those robot companies have to consider to come up with a really useful product.